equity, privacy rights, bodily autonomy, healthcare decisions, freedom to choose, reproductive rights, basic civil rights. All those are euphemisms for she dies.
No, it didn't freeze there at the end. Senator James Langford there making a point with a cardboard cutout and picture of a baby there on it. And the speech, probably he was prepared by his staff, had at the bottom, now pause for 10 seconds for the effect, because this will change minds and change lives. No, it won't. The point here again is the same thing the Republicans have always done. We're pushing this whole narrative of the emotional side of this. And they're killing babies. This is the approach that they've gone with. And apparently it's worked up to a certain extent. And then now that the pushback has happened from this leaked draft memo, seeing what the Supreme Court is planning on doing with Roe versus Wade and women's rights, it has to go on a high gear. We definitely can't talk about what it is that they're taking away from people, but then talking about those victims and maybe those folks who are also trying to codify their rights actually being the bad guys. When is someone gonna point out that Republicans are attacking women? They're saying they're the bad guys. Continuing on, because he's not the only one who used a big old giant cardboard cutout. This happens all the time on the Senate and congressional floors. Let's watch this one.
Law, if you were to take or destroy the eggs of a sea turtle, now I said the eggs, not the hatchlings, that's also a penalty, but the eggs. The criminal penalties are severe, up to $100,000 fine and a year in prison. Now why? Why do we have laws in place that protect the eggs of a sea turtle or the eggs of eagles? Because when you destroy an egg, you're killing a preborn baby sea turtle or a preborn baby eagle. Yet when it comes to a preborn human baby, rather than a sea turtle, that baby will be stripped of all protections in all 50 states under the Democrats' bill they'll be voting on tomorrow. Is that what the America the left wants? I would ask my Democratic colleagues if the
Steve Daines there talking about sea turtles and how they're protected species, but humans apparently are not, because we're in short supply of humans in this country, in this world, and they're like sea turtles. Humans are protected, but actually they're not always protected. We like to start wars. We kill humans pretty indiscriminately, and also once they're here, we definitely don't care about them. When they're in schools and they get shot up by a school shooter and we do nothing about that, are they sea turtles then? When children are starving to death and parents are like, hey, I pay taxes in this country. Maybe we pass some laws that are gonna help me while we go through a pandemic and all these other issues with our economy in the country. Housing, any of these things. Do we care about the sea turtles? The babies then? They don't seem to care, but those comparisons can be made again for another emotional plea to be like, why do we care about sea turtles more than humans? Why do you care about money more than humans is the next question I have. What are your thoughts on this, Wes? Both of these things that are happening here.
I mean, do we lock up eagles if they destroy their own eggs? Like these eggs, like the people or the species who they belong to, I think is the point that should matter there. And I love that they use the babies, the pictures of like toddlers, essentially as if people are going around slashing their throats, right? Like it's ridiculous. And my favorite part about these hypocrites is that, it's not as if we live in a society where, like, if you bring a baby into the world, there's a social safety net, there's an infrastructure in place to help you nurture and take care of this baby. We tell everybody you're on your own at every single turn. And this idea that they're like, we care, we want to see the baby, we want to do this, it's nonsense. And that's before you even talk about the bodily autonomy part of it. I'm just talking about just straight up hard economics. Like, some people cannot afford to have a baby. They can't afford to take care of one. They can't afford childcare. They can't afford health care. They can't afford food. They can't afford any of these things. And it's not even like these guys are talking about, well, we're gonna have the economic basis to ensure that everybody understands that it's fine to have a baby. Like, this is just ridiculous on like 20 different fronts.
Well, that's the plan. I mean, to ignore all of the things that happen during and after these types of events, Well, let's just talk about it in terms of the people who are looking to give people's rights are the bad guys looking to kill your babies. It's such a simplistic, childlike argument that completely ignores many of the aspects that are involved in this. But I mean, this is the thing, is what works. This is what works. We're an emotional country and we talk about how we need to separate our thoughts from our emotions, but it's what we push whenever we're trying to do something politically.
Well, this is actually less condescending and patronizing than what, Judge Alito put in his opinion, where basically he inferred eugenics. And the eugenicists were the first ones who wanted abortion, and it was a form of black population control, and therefore the roots of abortion, JR, are racist. The eugenicists wanted this, JR. That was the opinion put forward by Justice Alito, which is even more just condescending and ridiculous. This guy's a race warrior now.
Because all these politicians and justices,
they just love black people.
They've been fighting their whole lives for black folks' rights, Voting Rights Act. Oh, what happened with the Voting Rights?
Martin Luther who?
We had to fight for decades for the last, I think the last couple states, including Arizona, to even recognize Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday as a holiday, to get the Monday off, which nobody does anything except for recite Martin Luther King's speech from one speech and say that he's speaking for them. I don't want to get into more how much they hate black folks, but then whenever someone decides to stand up for black folks, they talk about how un-American they are. We're not even gonna get to that because that's the routine here. Use it for your own purposes and then shove it aside whenever you don't need it. They also do this when it comes to women's rights as well.